So you want to prioritize your mental health, but what does that really look like? What are the main pieces of this, the foundations of mental health that you can be cultivating in your life? In this video, we'll talk about one of those foundations of mental health, which is what we're taking in with our senses. My name is Dr. Parke. I'm a psychologist for youth, and here at Through the Waters, we nurture youth mental health. For this topic, let's start with a story. Let's imagine there was a gardener who wanted to see beautiful flowers and plants and fruit trees growing in their garden. They started by going to the store and buying some high-quality soil, flower seeds, and baby versions of the plants and fruit trees. They went home, spread the soil all over the ground to form a healthy foundation for their garden. Next, they excitedly sowed the flower seeds and planted the baby versions of the plants and fruit trees. They got their hose, they watered everything they had planted so that it could be nurtured in a healthy way. They went to sleep that night, grateful for the garden they had planted and hopeful that it would be healthy and beautiful someday. As the days went by, they continued to keep an eye on their garden and water it regularly as it grew. The growing garden started to get some visitors in the forms of insects and small animals. Some of them were helping the garden, and some of them were hurting it, but they were all really interesting to look at and sometimes even entertaining, so the gardener let them hang around and be in the garden. Over time, however, the harmful insects and animals started to multiply more than the helpful ones did, and the gardener didn't remove them. Unfortunately, these nefarious forces ended up bringing a lot of damage and decay to the garden over time, and eventually the garden was in a state of disrepair. End sad, tragic story. So what would you have told the gardener to do? They wanted a healthy, beautiful garden, but they allowed forces that were bringing damage and decay to hang out within it. If it was me, I'd tell the gardener to get rid of the harmful insects and animals as much as they could, while still allowing the helpful ones to be in the garden. Think of this garden as a metaphor for our heart. What we take in with our senses, what we see with our eyes, what we hear with our ears, affects our heart. A lot of people probably don't want to hear that, but I'm being real with you here and saying it like I see it. We do actually need to keep an eye on the garden of our heart. And we do actually need to look at the degree to which the forces we are allowing into our heart are life-giving or destructive. We want to believe that we can see or hear whatever we want to, and it won't affect us. But that's simply not true, in my humble opinion. What we take in with our ears and our eyes can shape our soul, our personality, and our imagination. We cannot routinely consume destruction and then turn around and expect to experience abundant life within us. There is a disconnect there, right? This is directly related to our mental health because we might try a lot of really good things like using a relaxation app or exercising or setting healthy boundaries, just like the gardener in this story who used high quality soil and planted healthy things. But if we don't tend the garden of our heart by reducing harmful influences and kicking them out, they will hurt us over the long term and yield damage, decay, and disrepair that overtakes the healthy things we've been trying to grow. What does this look like practically in our everyday mental health? I'm going to go out a little bit on a limb here and share an unpopular belief with you, but I believe personally that the movies and TV shows that we watch, the music and podcasts we listen to, the social media we consume, the people we follow online, the video games we play, the books we read, the news we pay attention to, the stuff we look at on our devices, all of this affects our mental health because we are storing it up in the garden of our heart. We would be kidding ourselves to pretend like these influences don't affect us. What we allow into our hearts is shaping us. The good news is that we can make choices about what we allow to shape us. I'm not advocating for any sort of extreme, all or nothing approach here, but the question I'm sharing with you is this. What would it look like for us to exercise a measure of caution when it comes to the influences that we're taking in? Maybe it means that we stop watching or listening to something, or maybe it means we reduce our intake of something so it's really minimal or rare in our lives. Tending our hearts will look differently for each of us. And I would add one last word of warning here, and this is going to be very honest because this convo is just among us friends, right? I mean, it's not like this is public on the internet or anything, right? So here's the word of caution. Please be especially careful about consuming violence and sex. Yes, we could come up with a million rationalizations for why it's okay to consume these, how they speak to our primal instincts as a species, how they light up the reward center of our brain, and so on, but please be especially careful about consuming these. I hope you can tell that I'm only saying this because I care about you and I want the best for you. I really don't have any ulterior motive for telling you that. So I'll just leave that right here and you can do with it what you want. So what's been helpful for you in terms of tending the garden of your heart, being careful about what you allow into your senses, what you see, what you hear? Share in the comments so that we can be learning from each other. And I know that all YouTubers say this, but if you haven't already, please hit the like button on this video. Please subscribe to our channel. I've been learning that that really trains the YouTube algorithm to share this content more broadly with people who might benefit from it. In the description below, you'll find some helpful links like a free list of coping tools that you can download. You can also sign up for our signature anxiety program called Peace to the People, where we take a deep dive into leveling up your tools for dealing with anxiety. In the next video, we'll talk about relationships.